Okay, book 1, chapter 5. Tyler, chapter 5 is never apologize for being yourself. Just make sure all your ducks are in the row before making your point proven. Okay, one of the things that I think a lot of people sometimes forget is being unapologetically themselves. Um, Sometimes we feel like we have to apologize because some people may not necessarily agree with who we are or as people, who we are as individuals, who we are as a collective. Um, but you should never have to apologize for being who you are. Now, that is not to say that people won't criticize you anyways, because they will. I've been criticized for a lot of things, but I think that if you know who you are as a person and you know that you're being your authentic self, then you don't apologize for that. Now, if you're being offensive to someone just because you feel like, oh, well, I'm right, so I don't care what you think, I feel like you're not being your authentic self. I think you're perpetuating a personality that you want people to believe. Um, I know a lot of people watch reality TV, a lot of reality shows, and you begin to see certain things on these shows that are to make you believe that a lot of these folks that are on there are actually being their authentic selves. I think to a certain degree, you may see 10% of who that person really is on those shows, but the other parts, I don't think you really get a chance to see who that person really is outside of what they're showing you on a film or on film. Um, it's it gets a little frustrating at times because you find a lot of these bold personalities, so to speak. You find a lot of people who, this is who I am. You don't If you don't like it, then I don't care. And it's to take on that type of mentality works in a very if you're a very soloish kind of person. But if you're trying to be included in a group or trying to be inclusive of your group, then there are going to be times when you kind of have to tone it down. Because even if you are being your authentic self in that particular situation, which I don't personally think that you really are, but whatever, that's another story for another day, you have to understand that everybody is not attracted to that, for lack of better words, boldness. Um, and if that actually is who you are, then fine, that's who you are. Some people may like it, some people may love it, and then maybe it's the reverse of that. People may not like it so much, they may hate it. But at the end of the day, if that's who you're going to be, and somebody calls you out on it, make sure that all your ducks are in a row, because when they challenge you, they may be coming at you with something that you've never thought about before. And one of the things that I've even come across, even when I've done my counseling sessions with different people, is that I would say something to the effect of, well, have you ever thought about how the way you come across is to people, or how you address people, or how you may come across to people who don't know who you are, and how that person can perceive you to be possibly something that maybe you didn't actually intend or planned on becoming, or planned on for anybody to view you a particular kind of way, but because of the way you chose to come across, it kind of leads you in the, I don't think I want to associate with them, but you might be the nicest person in the world. You just so happen to may have a personality that is very bold and out there, and say it like you mean it kind of person. And it's, again, there's nothing wrong with having that type of personality. I think it's awesome when you do have those kind of personalities, but you have to be able to understand that everybody can't appreciate that type of personality just in your face. I got you. Like everybody's not equipped to handle that. So sometimes you kind of have to reel it in. And I think that if in my mind, I honestly think that if that's truly your authentic self and you're actually being your authentic self, being able to understand and recognize, okay, these are new people. They don't really know who I am, so let me kind of introduce myself. And you can be your authentic self without feeling like you have to accost people to get them to know, oh no, this is who I am. Because I tend to have a personality from time to time. Well, I have personality anyways, that's just me. But I tend to sometimes have a personality that might kind of take people by surprise because I tend to be somewhat of a bubbly person, especially when I'm around people that I know. Now if I'm now and there are those times when I'm very reserved and I just kind of just sit back and I just kind of observe because I just like looking at people and taking in the moment and seeing how everybody feels about the situation. One of the best things for me is that although I like to dance a lot, I love to watch other people dance because I like to see other people having a good time. So in those moments, I'm very reserved, and some people think that, oh my gosh, she's so quiet. I'm not really a quiet person. I can be very talkative at times, but there are also times when I really do feel like talking, and I get to going, and I don't know when to shut up. And then there are those moments when I'm just kind of like, oh my gosh, this is so nice. Everybody's having a great time. Oh my gosh, I've never seen a dance move before. Wow, she's really pretty. Wow, he's really good looking. Wow, this is such an amazing thing. I love the way everybody's dressed. Everybody's having a good time. These decorations are amazing. Oh wow, and I'm not verbalizing these things, but I'm internalizing these things, and it just makes me feel good in those moments. Now there are times when I'm having a good time, and I'm not really a drinker, but when I'm having a good time and I'm laughing and talking with somebody, and I get out in line dance or I have a good time dancing, it's awesome. It's amazing. It's fantastic. When I go on cruises with my friends and we they put on a song that we have a line dance to, we get out there, we have a good time. But that's with me understanding that everybody doesn't know LB. So if everybody doesn't know who LB is, I don't want to scare anybody. And sometimes you don't necessarily scare anybody, especially if you have one of those outgoing personalities because you can see it from across the room. Um, Sometimes you meet those people that just have those really bright personalities and they can kind of take you by surprise, but that doesn't mean they're not being their authentic self. It just means that this is really who they are. And in those kind of open settings where there's a huge room and somebody just doesn't have a very bright and bold and impersonating personality. And in those kind of situations, sometimes they could be who they themselves, and sometimes they can put on a show for you. You got to be observant of that as well. But just understand that if somebody challenges you and they come at you in a particular way, it's to kind of see if that's who you really are. And I can't say whether it's good or bad if a person challenges you, but I think that that's something to put you kind of put a little check mark to say, um, am I really being my who I really am? And if somebody calls me on it, um, do I? And I know a lot of people say, well, I'm gonna get them told. I'm gonna get them told. And that's it. Hey, look, if that's how you do it, I, okay, but just understand that it could be a reason why a person is asking you this because they really want to know, is that really who you are? You putting on a show for us? And look, I love a good show. I do. But I think that even if you're putting on a show for people, well, who is that person under that show? Who's that person behind that show they're putting on? Who's that person who's sitting there trying to understand? Well, who are you outside of that personality? Who are you outside of the grab everybody's attention person? Like who are you beyond that? And bold personalities are great, but sometimes they're used as covers. And having a cover to mask who you are so nobody can see who you are, know who you are, or ever get to know you, those guards that people have up, sometimes can be off-putting, but you may be a fantastically wonderful person under all that, even without the personality, but or the personality you're presenting. But being your authentic self, I promise you, is probably one of the most liberating things in the world because you finally get a chance to really show people, no, this is really who I am. Even if you're not that big, bold, great, all personality, you still are an amazing person underneath. So Be your authentic self and never apologize for being who you are.